Hey you guys, so I'm about to make a super duper controversial statement. Like, it's gonna be really controversial, but I just feel like speaking, and this is how I feel. So, the reason I thought about this, I'll give a little backstory. The reason I thought about this is because I know someone who says that, like, if you really want to stop talking to a guy, you should change your number. Like, there's no reason that your old exes need to, like, be in contact with you. And I thought about this one guy who I dated for a little while, and we knew each other for like a couple years, like a good amount of time. We've been knowing each other for a really long time now, like 7-8 years. And like, we only dated for a little bit, and then we were like still like quote unquote like cool after that. And like, after a while, I just start getting like the ick towards him, like really bad. Like, I start getting disgusted with him. And so I was just thinking about that. I'm like, I wonder why that happened. Because like, he used to like randomly check in with me. Now he doesn't even do that because I think I treated him so bad. Because I was just feeling like disgusted. Like, that's why I wasn't meaning to treat him bad, but I was just like, ew. Because like, I feel like us as women, like, we're way too nice, way too tolerant, way too forgiving sometimes. And like, you can be forgiving and then also like don't communicate with that person ever again. Like, like, if you're not gonna treat me like the queen that I am, if you're not trying to show up like a grown man in my life, like, literally lose my number. I never need to see you again. Like, what? It's like, oh well, what if he changes? I'm not gonna stick around to find out. Like, that's none of my business. And I just think about like a younger version of myself who like entertain like fake friendships, like these like weirdo relationships with men who had basically abused me. Like, they had or not abused me, like, that was the strong statement I was trying to avoid, but like, they abused their access to me. Like, I gave them access to me and they abused the heck out of it. Like, they were not honorable to me, they were not good to me, like, they were not anything. And I used to think that being like good to me was just like, honestly, like spending time with me and buying me food. Like, I was like, wow, like, he's so good to me. Or just like being like a kind person, like, you know, like just a person with manners, any decent human being, you know. Like, I used to like, oh, like, he was a good guy, like, he's a really good guy. Like, these good guys that you talk about, like, they're really not good guys. Like, what's so good about him? Like, did he help you in any way? Did he put you on any way? And I'm not talking about that metaphysical stuff that y'all be talking about, like, oh, he really helped me to like see myself more clearly. Like, yeah, he did, but like, any little experience does that. Like, I heard a commercial on the radio that helped me to see myself more clearly. I'm not indebted to the radio station because of that. Like, it's just like, you know, you're always feeding off of your environment and things that are happening. But let this message, if you hear this, if you receive this, like, cut these people off. Like, the men specifically, like, and even friends. Like, if you get a bad vibe, if this person's like bringing you down, they're being weird, like, you don't ever have to see that person again. Like, that is your autonomy, that is your freedom. Like, don't be around people who just are not uplifting for you. Anyway, and especially men who just like honestly abuse their access to you. Like, they don't even deserve to be breathing the same air as you, and you guys are hanging out like you're friends or something. And especially like, girls, stop acting fake. Like, I know a lot of you guys are hanging out with exes and going 50-50. He pays for his meal, you pay for your meal, because, you know, you guys aren't together anymore, so he doesn't quote unquote owe you or anything. That wasn't my situation, because obviously they're trying to get back together with me, so they're gonna try to, like, you know, buy my love. You know how men do. Whatever. With freaking a hamburger, like, it's crazy. But the people who I'm talking about, like, I knew them when I was like young, like 17-18 years old. So to me, a hamburger was, you know, it was something. I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, she probably grew up in like a trailer park or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, did you grow up under a rock? Like, you're over here getting swooned with hamburgers? Like, girl, I don't know what I was on. Like, MTV raised me. Anyways, there's no need to be around these people. There's no need to be around these people. They're not good guys. They're actually bad guys. If he was a good guy, you'd still be with him. And even if he is a good guy, he's not. There's just no reason for y'all to be hanging out. Like, for what? Like, for what? Like, what's so cool about him? Like, especially now, I'm in this season where I'm like pouring heavily into my female relationships, into sacred sisterhood. and also into myself and like my alone time. I have so many goals and aspirations and so much work that has to be done. Like, I have such a busy schedule that it's like, why would I be hanging out with an ex? Like, literally make it make sense. Like, that's such a useless, fruitless use of time. He's not your husband, so it's not like you're like dating for marriage, which can benefit you in the future. He's not one of your girlfriends. He's not going to be a bridesmaid. He's not going to be your kid's auntie. He's not anything to you. He's nothing to you. He, like, unless you are really, really benefiting significantly in a big way, and I doubt that you are if you're here to receive this message specifically, like, literally block that man. Like, get a new phone number. Like, ew. So disgusting. I'm embarrassed at the times I thought I was going to be friends with exes. Like, we're not friends. Ew. Don't text me ever. Don't even act like you know me. If you see me out, look the other way. Period. And I just thought of another little nugget. Like, okay, so let's just live in imaginary land. Like, say there's this guy, he abuses his access to you, and you need to revoke access. Get rid of him. Block that man. You never need to speak to him again. You never need to see him again. Never again. Like, never again. The first time, the first time, he's done. And then maybe if he like is really, really adamant about coming back, like he goes way out of his way, second time. If he does it again, you're gone. You're done. It's over. Like, he's abusing you at that point. Like, he's literally abusing you. Don't allow that to happen. Otherwise, if you do let it happen a third time, you're abusing yourself. What is it like? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay, so the third time, you're abusing yourself. You're a willing participant. Like, just say that you like that at that point. But if for whatever reason he changes, he gets a better job, like all these things happens, and he's really, really serious about you, like, I promise you, he will find a way. He will find a way. Like, he will buy a yellow pages, like a yellow book, and he will find you. He will stalk one of your friends or your sister on Facebook, and he will find you. He will send you an email. Like, if he really wanted to, he would. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, but what if he changes? If he changes, he will find you. And God will find a way. If it's love, love will find a way. But 99.9999999% of the time, it's not that. It's not that. So delete his number. Pretend he never existed. The first time. If he really works for your forgiveness, you might give him a second time. Maybe. If you really feel like it's your husband. Maybe a second time. There will never be a third time. There will never be a third time. And I get it, we're young, we've made mistakes, blah, 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 blah. But if you see this video, this is a sign that going forward, there will never, ever, ever be a third time to abuse their access to you again. Ever. I love you guys. And then another note, just know I'm not judging. I'm actually speaking to myself. Like, these are conversations that I have to have with myself, and I just happen to be recording it. And the reason, like, in a perfect world, if I were a perfect woman, I wouldn't have to block anyone. I wouldn't have to get a new number. I would just see their message, ignore it, move on with my life. With someone who I don't like, or like an ex that I don't care about, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But this is a guy. If it's like a guy, I really, I'm like, no, we're in love. Like, that's my man. Like, he's just acting up, but I really love him. Like, if I'm like in all of that, then it's like a few times a month I feel like this, like how I'm talking in this video, like, you, like, don't come anywhere near me, you're disgusting, like, that's a waste of time, that's fruitless, I have goals, blah, 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 blah. That's how I am, like, a few weeks at the month. But there's also at least a week out of the month where I'm like, but we should be in love, like, I love him, he was so good to me, we had the best times together, like, we're gonna be a family, blah, 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 blah. And I know I'm not the only woman who felt like this. I actually have a friend who talks about this in depth, and like how your menstrual cycle affects your hormones, and how you have like different cravings for men and love and affection and romance and things like throughout your cycle. So this is scientifically proven. Like, I'm not just making this up, but I think maybe some women are more prone to it than others. I have like pretty intense periods. I have like pretty intense PMS. I've always been like that. I've tried to change my diet. I've done a lot of things. It's kind of better now, but like I do have intense PMS and like horrible cramps and things. So I don't know if that means that like my hormones fluctuate more than other women. I could see that because honestly, I am someone in my life who I feel like has like high highs and low lows. Like I just live with intensity. Like everything in my life is like balls to the wall, right? So I think my hormones definitely like play a part in that, and that they're also pretty intense. So for a couple days every single month, I'm going to be thinking that this person is definitely my soulmate and we're definitely meant to be together, and I'm gonna turn into like an obsessive stalker girl, like basically. And so if there's a way that I can unblock his number, like I will find a way. Like just like I said, if he wants to find a way, he will. Men are basically in that like heightened hormonal state like all the time. So if he really wanted to, trust me, he will. Like I've had men get in contact with me in some like crazy ways. I've had like, you have no idea. Like if they want to, they definitely will. Like sometimes it'll be surprising. And if he's not, like he just doesn't care that much. And so for a couple days out the month, you're gonna be caring a lot. You're gonna be thinking about it a lot. And I just personally feel like the best method for me is to like delete their number, delete all the messages, delete everything. And now I have found like a way to recover the number before. So I might even, well no, I think I've got it under control now. I'm pretty emotionally balanced and grounded. But like I said, like for a couple days every month, my brain, it goes against everything we want. Right now where I am, like I'm not ovulating, I'm not fertile, like men, schmin, like I'm not even thinking about it. But I know in about 10 to 12 days, I'm gonna be thinking about, I'm like, my man. And so I just feel like maybe get a new phone. Like get a new phone that doesn't even have these people's numbers. There's no way to like recover it. Like just start from scratch. And I don't know, maybe iCloud makes it harder. Well no, I think if you get a new number, like you can start from scratch. This person won't contact you. And of course, like, you know, for a few days every month, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna miss them until eventually you find like someone new to obsess over. But this is for the best, because it just gets embarrassing. If you allow a man to disrespect you more than 2 times, it's getting embarrassing. And I know a lot of women hate to be embarrassed, so I feel, you know, that's definitely like the motivation that drives me. Like my pride won't let me do it. And every time I do it, like the way that I shame myself like so much, like if I like hang out with like a guy who's a like quote unquote friend, or like a guy who's an ex, or like just a guy who's not doing anything for me or benefiting my life in any way, like we're not business partners, like we're not like, there's just, and I don't want to be business partners with men anymore, but like, you know, if I'm not getting anything from him and I don't see any potential in a relationship, like sometimes I do that, and then afterwards I feel horrible. I'm like, that was so stupid. I hate that I did that. Next month I'll be better. And a lot of months I do good, but a couple times I do mess up. And then hopefully I'll listen back to this video and I'll remember to stay strong. I won't even have access to the numbers, and I'll just, you know, eat something sweet instead, indulge in something else. It's not subpar men.